Do you know why just one tiny negative comment can haunt you for an entire week? You spend hours replaying someone's words in your head, but the truth is they probably forgot about it after just a few minutes. And your sadness or anxiety, they actually only last inside your body for less than 2 minutes. Sounds strange, right? But most of the stress, worry, and pressure you feel is not because life is too hard. It's because you're, without realizing it, feeding those negative emotions every single day. The dangerous part is, the longer you let them stick around, the deeper they sink into your mind, making you overreact to even the smallest things. One day, you realize you're always tense, struggling to sleep, and missing out on opportunities that could have been yours. Picture this. A few years from now, you turn down a date because you're afraid of being judged. You pass up a great job because you think you're not good enough, and you live in a loop of stress, not because you're incapable, but because you never learned how to manage your emotions. But trust me, there's a way to break out of that loop. Once you understand what I'm about to share, you'll know how to face your feelings without letting them swallow you whole. Stay confident even when all eyes are on you, and stand strong even on your worst days. And here's the first secret, one that might surprise you. Negative emotions actually only stay in your body for less than 2 minutes. Part 1. Understanding your emotions. What if you could let any negative emotion pass in just 90 seconds? Sounds amazing, right? You wouldn't let sadness or anger ruin your whole day anymore. But here's the surprising truth you might not know. According to Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, a Harvard neuroscientist, every emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, or anxiety, only physically lasts in your body for exactly 90 seconds. When an emotion kicks in, your body releases chemicals like adrenaline or cortisol. These chemicals flow through your system and are completely flushed out within a minute and a half, unless you hold on to them with your thoughts. That means emotions don't control you. It's the stories you tell yourself, like, "I'm useless" or "everyone's gonna laugh at me," that make those emotions stick around. So, what's the trick? Just let your emotions pass like waves, no fighting, no feeding them. Picture your emotions like waves in the ocean. They rise, peak, and fade away, as long as you don't try to hold on to them. Once you learn to let emotions pass, you'll feel lighter, like a heavy weight has been lifted off your shoulders. The best part is, you don't have to fight your emotions, you just watch them, like you're watching a short movie, and let them leave on their own. When you know this secret, you'll realize how much stronger you really are. You're no longer at the mercy of emotional storms. I remember a day a few years ago when my boss criticized me in a meeting. I felt angry and embarrassed, like the whole world was staring at my failure. My heart was pounding all day, and my mind kept spinning with thoughts, "I'm useless. Everyone must think I'm terrible." But the truth was, I was just making up negative stories in my own head. None of that was actually in other people's minds. So next time you feel angry or anxious, try pausing for 90 seconds. Just breathe, count from 1 to 90, and watch the feeling pass. It will help you get through those emotional surges. Once the feeling subsides, you'll be in a much better position to control your thoughts. From there, we can tackle the next struggle, not the emotion itself, but the fear that people are judging us. Let's take a closer look at this fascinating psychological trap. Part 2. The spotlight effect. I bet you felt like everyone's staring at your mistakes before, right? I used to think that too, but the truth is, no one cares about you as much as you think. They're too busy thinking about themselves. Sounds strange, but here's another fact you probably didn't know. It's called the spotlight effect, a psychological phenomenon studied by Cornell University. It shows that we tend to overestimate how much other people notice our appearance, actions, or mistakes. Researchers ran an experiment where they asked students to wear an embarrassing t-shirt and walk around campus. The students were sure everyone would notice and judge them, but in reality, almost nobody did. Why? Because each person is the center of their own universe. They're busy worrying about how they look, what they say, or what they do, rather than paying attention to you. Small slip-ups like mispronouncing a word, wearing a slightly wrinkled shirt, or spilling coffee matter far less to others than you think. Let's say you're stressed about an upcoming job interview. You've prepared carefully, but during the conversation, you accidentally say something wrong or forget a detail. You might think the interviewer is silently judging you, that they see you as incompetent, and it feels like a blinding spotlight is shining on your mistake. But in reality, they might be busy thinking about their packed schedule, or they might care far more about your attitude and enthusiasm than one imperfect answer. The little mistakes you obsess over usually are not as important as you imagine. Understanding the spotlight effect is like having a key to unlock your confidence. It reminds you that you're not at the center of everyone's attention. Once you realize most people are not judging you, you'll start living more like your true self, walking through life without the heavy burden of imaginary spotlights. If you're not convinced, try sharing in the comments a time you worried for no reason, thinking everyone was judging you. I'm willing to bet people will tell you it was not as bad as you thought. And next time you start to worry, remember, everyone's busy worrying about themselves, not you. Maybe you're already feeling a little more confident now, but even if you know about the spotlight effect, it's still normal to feel anxious sometimes. That's why I've got 2 simple techniques for you in the next part. Part 3. Be your own advisor. Just by changing one word when you talk to yourself, you can instantly feel less anxious. Have you ever tried using your name instead of I? Talking to yourself in the third person is a psychological technique researched by Michigan State University. It helps you create some distance from intense emotions and think more clearly. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, try calling yourself by name. Zico, you've prepared well. You can do this. This activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that helps you give rational advice, just like when you're comforting a friend. Studies show this technique reduces anxiety, boosts confidence, and helps you make better decisions, all from just one small change in how you speak to yourself. You already have a friend who knows exactly how to encourage you at the right time. This friend understands all your strengths, all your challenges, and always knows what to say to make you feel better. Talking to yourself in the third person turns you into that friend. When you call yourself by name, it's like stepping out of an emotional storm, seeing things more clearly, and finding the confidence to move forward. I believe this technique is a small gift you can give yourself. It helps you treat yourself the same way you'd treat a close friend, with kindness, encouragement, and zero judgment. You don't need to fight yourself. Just change one word, and you'll see you're stronger than you think. Chris Rock, the famous American comedian, actor, and writer, once shared that he often talks to himself, especially when facing the pressure of performing, dealing with personal conflicts, or needing to adjust his emotions after tense moments. He often asks himself, what would Chris Rock, the performer, do right now? Chris clearly separates Chris, the real person, from Chris Rock, the public figure, and talks to himself as if he's coaching someone else. When he's angry, instead of reacting right away, he'll say, Chris, calm down, this is not worth it. Calling himself by name helps him regain control over his emotions and handle situations with logic rather than impulsive feelings, a survival skill in the high-pressure, highly critical entertainment industry. So if you ever feel anxious or doubt yourself, try calling yourself by name and saying something encouraging. For example, your name, you've got this. Then share how it made you feel in the comments. I'm really curious to know if this technique works for you, so drop anything you want to share below. Talking to yourself in the third person is the first technique to help you find your confidence in tough moments. But what if a wave of emotions hits you all in a single day? We all have days like that. The second most important technique I'm about to share will help you be ready for even your worst days. Part 4. The Emotional First Aid Kit. When an emotional storm hits you hard in just one day, it's easy to feel lost and out of control. But the truth is, with just a few simple actions, you can regain your calm and take back control in those tough moments. This strategy is called the Emotional First Aid Kit, a personalized set of tools to help you cope with anxiety, sadness, or feeling overwhelmed. It includes 4 elements: 1 physical action, 1 sensory element, 1 cognitive intervention, and 1 social connection. Sounds complicated? It's actually simple. Let me explain. The idea is to prepare this kit while you're calm, on one of your good days, so it's ready when the storm comes. The goal is to use specific actions to release negative energy and take in positive energy from your surroundings. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're not meant to go through life alone. For example, on a bad day, you might text a friend to feel supported, Smell a favorite scent to engage your senses and shift your thoughts, or go for a run to physically release pent-up energy. Think of your emotional first aid kit as your personal emergency plan for when the worst days hit. A loyal companion that reminds you you're never truly alone. I want to share the story of Anderson Cooper, the well-known CNN journalist and anchor. After losing his mother and brother, the two people closest to him, Cooper fell into depression and lingering panic attacks. Even as a successful TV host, he admitted, "There were days I didn't want to get out of bed. I felt lost and empty." Instead of forcing himself to be strong or hiding his feelings, he built his own emotional first aid kit, listening to the same morning music his mom used to play, writing in a journal every morning, even just a few lines, turning off his phone, taking a 10-minute walk outside, and calling the one friend he didn't have to pretend to be okay with. These weren't grand gestures, just small, simple actions, done at the right time with the right person. They helped him steady his emotions and slowly get through the crisis. An emotional first aid kit doesn't sit in your medicine cabinet. It lives in your self-awareness. Ask yourself, what do I need when I'm sad? Who's the one person I can text without putting on a brave face? When you use these tools, you're sending yourself a message. I can get through this. I'm stronger than I think. I believe preparing for hard moments is an act of self-love. It doesn't just help you handle stress, it gives you a sense of safety and control. You don't need to be perfect or have all the answers. Just think about it. Take 5 minutes today to create your own emotional first aid kit. Choose one action, one scent, one question, and one person to reach out to. Try it the next time you feel stressed. Bad days don't define you. They're just moments, like waves that come and go. When you understand that negative emotions only last 90 seconds, you can let them pass. When you understand the spotlight effect, you can free yourself from the fear of being judged. Talking to yourself in the third person can ease anxiety instantly. And the emotional first aid kit is your companion, always ready when you need it. Hold on to the belief that you will get through this while still facing the hard truths of the present, and you will find light, even in your darkest days. Think back to one technique from this video. Maybe the 90-second pause after someone criticizes you. If you learned something or felt inspired by this video, leave anything you want in the comments. It really means a lot to me right now. My next video will be about how to stop wasting your evenings. If you're curious, click to watch it now.